Girls and boys, you are about to experience the unique marvel of the Falkirk Wheel. We are sure that you will enjoy this boat trip on the Falkirk Wheel, the world's first and only rotating boat, which contains the finest traditions of centuries-old Scottish engineering excellence and innovation. Opened by Her Majesty the Queen in 2002 as part of the Millennium Link project, the Falkirk Wheel was designed to reconnect the Forth and Clyde Canal with the Union Canal and reopen the waterway principally for recreational use. It replaces a series of 11 locks close to this site, which linked the two canals until the 1930s, when the lock system fell into disuse. The height difference between the Forth and Clyde Canal at the bottom and the Union Canal at the top is 35 metres. The Falkirk Wheel was designed by Scottish architects RMJM and constructed by Butterley Engineering of Derbyshire and cost £17.5 million to build, with funding coming from many partners. The entire Millennium Link project cost £87 million. The Falkirk Wheel structure has an overall height of 35 metres and consists of two opposing arms which take the shape of a Celtic-inspired double-headed axe, and it will take just 4 minutes to travel to the top. The boat moves into a gondola which holds boats side by side. There are two gondolas on the Falkirk Wheel, which always weigh the same, whether or not they carry their combined capacity of 600 tons, as the water contained within the gondolas is displaced to compensate. Two hydraulic steel gates are raised to seal off the gondola from the water in the canal basin. The water. In the central machine core, an array of 10 hydraulic motors begins to rotate a central axle, which is carried on bearings at both ends. The axle connects to the outer arms of the Falkirk Wheel, and this now begins to rotate slowly at a speed of 1/8 of a revolution per minute. It takes around 4 minutes for the gondola to reach the top of the aqueduct, 25 metres above. The Falkirk Wheel can turn in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction, and the choice over which way it turns is made by an operator in the control room. To reduce wear on bearings and other moving parts, the operator will evenly distribute the number of times the wheel turns in each direction. As the wheel rotates, the two gondolas are always kept in the upright position by a simple system of gears. Two 8-metre wide outer rings orbit a fixed inner cog of the same width. Two smaller cogs connect the inner and outer rings together. These travel in the opposite direction to the outer rings, and this ensures that the two gondolas remain level. Without this system, the inertia created by over 80,000 gallons of water will tip each gondola over. According to Archimedes' principle, floating objects displace their own weight in water. So when a boat enters the water, the weight gauging quantum enough, which ensures that boats are the size which will fit along the Union Canal at its narrowest points. You can see in front of the Rough Castle Tunnel. This tunnel was constructed as part of the junction between the Forth and Clyde Canal at the lower level to the Union Canal at the upper, therefore completing the Millennium Link. Above the tunnel are the remains of the Roman Antonine War, begun around AD 142 to protect the Roman invaders from the Picts. The Antonine Wall was 60 kilometres long, 22, and the two linked by a flight of 11 locks. The Falkirk Wheel now provides the link between the two canals. The men of the workforce who dug out the canals were called navigators, and in time the name became shortened to navvies. They came here to work mainly from Ireland or the Scottish Highlands. Over 1,500 navvies worked on the building of the Forth and Clyde Canal. The canals were designed to provide fast routes for transporting goods from one side of Scotland to the other. And from the beginning, rivalry was fierce between companies, all keen to provide the quickest journey between Glasgow and Edinburgh. Industries grew up beside the canal, and some of the canal side towns grew along with them. Places like Falkirk, Bonnybridge and Kirkintilloch, where iron foundries proliferated, expanded as a result of the canal's trade. Another major commodity was grain. This helped to feed growing urban centres, particularly in Glasgow and Edinburgh. Grain was also required by the many distilleries, which became a common feature of the canal side. They used the convenient water for cooling purposes. Pleasure steamers ran popular day trips on the Forth and Clyde Canal, running between 1893 and 1939, with boats such as the Fairy Queen and the Gypsy Queen in regular use. The Forth and Clyde Canal declined and was closed to navigation in 1963. At the other end of this tunnel is the South Basin, and round to the left is the staircase lock leading to the Union Canal. The Union Canal runs on one level, following the contours of the land, for just over 51 kilometres, all the way from Edinburgh to Falkirk, and is famous for its three spectacular aqueducts. The Avon Aqueduct is 247 metres long, the second longest aqueduct in Britain, reopened in May 2000. A number of concept designs for a boatlift were produced, and work began using the final design in 1999, with construction being completed in 2002. The reopened canals brought two of central Scotland's prime assets back into use, and effectively provided the country with a new leisure resource. New boating facilities are being developed at many locations along the canals, and towpaths have been provided with access points, which make them usable by disabled people, and level surfaces also make the paths ideal for walkers and cyclists. There has been an intensive period of restoration activity on Scotland's inland waterways. The country's canal network is now experiencing a renaissance, with increasing numbers of people visiting the Lowland and Highland canals, and our iconic Falkirk Wheel and Visitor Centre. The country's waterways have undergone a huge transformation. We now have a strong canal infrastructure that is perfectly positioned to be a significant contributor to leisure and tourism